Hello, everyone. My name is Marius Tănescu, and I want to say welcome to this podcast. My main goal, starting doing those podcasts, is to understand and learn as much as I can about blockchain. And in the last few years, I've been blessed to connect with great people. And today I have a very, very special person that I respect so much, and I'm honored to have him on this podcast with us. And the last few months, I had the chance to connect with him on a personal level. And first of all, he's an amazing, amazing human being. And on top of that is his huge experience in blockchain technology, his projects that he's involved. It's amazing to have him here, and I'm honored. I would like to say welcome to Stephen Waters, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation. I know you don't participate to many calls like this, many podcasts. That's why I feel very, very honored to have you here.
Thanks, Marius. Man, it's so kind. And I could say the exact thing about you, man. You're an incredible human being. And when I first met you, I could feel that in your presence. I could see that the energy that you put out. You can tell that, you're a good person. And I've really enjoyed getting to know you. And you're right, dude. I don't do these calls, these Zooms, mainly because I'm just so busy. All the time. And so any time downtime I have, it's with my family. So, but man, for you, I couldn't pass up the opportunity. You're such a good dude, and I happen to have some time. So happy to
Thank
be
you so
here.
much. And I know we don't have too much time, but I want to grasp as much as I can from your knowledge. Can you share with us a little bit about your experience? How did you start in blockchain? And what was the first thing that you did in blockchain?
Yeah, you bet, man. Man, I have to go back back to 2015, 2016. A good friend of mine, I've known for over 25 years, reached out to me, and I hadn't talked to him probably in a couple months, and he kept just blowing me up. And every time I'd go to answer my phone, I was in a meeting, or it just wasn't a good time. And then when I'd go to call him, same thing. He's an extremely busy person, hard to track down. He's just go, 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 but anyways, after a little bit of phone tag, we finally connected, and he started telling me about Bitcoin. And at that moment, I was just like, oh man, Bitcoin, I have to admit, dude, I really didn't know a lot about Bitcoin. To me,
Why
it wasn't.
everybody's reaction is the same? Because I realize everybody's reaction is the same when they heard for the first time Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain. Is why? Why
Yeah,
is that?
man. I mean, dude, like maybe like you or a lot of people, I didn't take it seriously, man. It just seemed like play money, uh, and just some sort of gimmick. So I really just dismissed it. And if it had come from anyone else, I probably, would have laughed it off and switched the subject, really hard. You know? Yeah, I would have swiped right, bro. Really bad.
You
But
got
this
lucky because
person,
the right person called you.
that's correct, dude. The right person. He incredible individual, had a lot of success, and I knew it. I knew his heart. I knew him to be a sincere person, a good person, and so I said, tell me more, and so that's really where it began. I want to say that was roughly 2015, 2016, more than 10 years ago. It's pretty incredible. It's just flown by.
And what exactly did you start doing? Like what did you work on? When you talk about Bitcoin, you just purchased Bitcoin from the market or different things?
Yeah. So initially, my background, back in the Y2K era, you're old enough to remember that. I got involved online with the internet, which, knowing my history, no one would have guessed. It just kind of happened, man. And I got involved online and started learning how to build websites. And so I had a lot of experience as an entrepreneur, over 20, over at that point, over 15 years of online experience with, running, different businesses and ventures and consulting. And so I, had kind of made a name for myself a little bit in the space. And he said, "Hey, I need your help, in this Bitcoin space." And so he had started getting into the mining aspect of Bitcoin, and really wanted to, get my help in creating an online presence for that, to be able to make it more accessible to other people. And so I said, "I can carve out some time. I'm down." And that's kind of how it all started.
And back then was easier or harder than it is today to mine Bitcoin?
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, you could say it was harder. In some ways, you could say it was easier. Um, you know, I would say on a personal experience, it was harder because I didn't have, we didn't have actually a lot of knowledge or experience in the space. We were just really excited about this incredible new technology and what it could do. And so it was hard from that standpoint of having to learn new things. Um, Today, it would be a lot easier for me, uh, because I've had some experience. I know some of the potholes to look out for, and some of the things that you can do to ramp it up and have a little more success with it.
What was that moment when you kind of transition from the non-believer, being very skeptical, to go to the, okay, this is it, I want to learn, I want to focus, I want to be involved in this technology?
Yeah, it was kind of gradual, but it was probably like maybe 6 to 8 months after getting involved, that I really went hard into it, and really just went all in, and began to wind down some of my other obligations so that I could focus pretty much full time on doing it. So I'd say that was probably like uh, spring to 2016 or so, is probably around roughly when I started going hard into it. Uh, and then it's just been a blur, since then.
Can you point to the idea that made you convinced? Was the blockchain technology behind Bitcoin? Was the future of Bitcoin, or the future of technology? What was that idea that sparked in your mind, and you said, okay, this is it, this is the new future?
Yeah, man. Well, having, been, an entrepreneur, and, been involved in many different projects over the years, uh, just seeing the stranglehold that the banking system has on the rest of the world, from individuals, to, to entrepreneurs and big businesses. I mean, to see and learn about a technology that literally puts the power back into the people's hands, like Bitcoin and blockchain can do, really was a revolutionary thought to me, that really just hit me. And to me, was the lever that I felt like could help society, take that next step forward. And so, that really was, I think, that defining uh, idea that just really grabbed a hold of me, and really convinced me to want to get involved.
You just said that there is an opportunity to give people back the power, like to take the power in their hands. Can you develop that idea? Because I think that's huge in this conversation.
Yeah, if you're new to Bitcoin or crypto, for a lot of people, it's just this idea of, these coins or these NFTs, um, and and really the magic is the technology underneath it, all of it, and that's called blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
And blockchain technology really, is essentially it's a ledger, it's a database. And instead of it all existing on one server like Microsoft or Google or Amazon, this database is actually held on the computers that are owned by private individuals like you and me all over the world. So it's distributed. And so it's really in the hands of the people. And it's incredible technology because it literally, Bitcoin's never been hacked. Uh, you know, it's an incredible technology in the sense that it's transparent, it's immutable, it's secure because it uses cryptography, and it's perfect for tracking transactions and digital assets. It really is an incredible technology, and many people actually refer to it as the truth protocol or the trust protocol because it inherently possesses all the characteristics that foster trust with people that you don't know, simply because of the technology that it uses.
In other words, like you don't need a third person to certify or take care of a transaction because everything is in the technology. It's a
That's
smart
right.
contract that is transparent, is secure. Now, I know that you are passionate about the energy. I know you are working on different projects, but you are passionate about the energy. And I will ask you, from your opinion, what's the biggest problem in energy? I know from my level, I can say, yes, I'm paying too much on my energy bill, right? As a consumer. Yeah. But what's the big problem in the energy space that that using blockchain can solve that problem?
Yeah, man. I think most people would initially say, like you're saying, right, the energy costs, and that's really just a symptom of the big actual problem. The real problem is the current infrastructure, the current model for the energy space. You look at it right now, and for the most part, it looks the same today as it did more than 100 years ago when it first started. And it's very centralized. It's pretty much it's very monopolized by some big players, and as a result, it really hasn't changed. I mean, the truth of it is to ask yourself, or anyone, when was the last time that your power company called you and to let you know that they were going to lower your power bill? Right? It never happens. It doesn't. It just goes up, which is incredible considering the technology that we have at our fingertips. It really speaks to the problem, and the problem is that it is an outdated model. It's missing the free market system that really could release the innovation to help create more accessibility and to really bring down some of that cost and to make it more efficient.
And is that intentionally, like the people that they control the markets, they really want to keep it that way, or is just because there is no other player, there is no solution right now that is coming and kind of compete or replace them?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to to really hone in on big energies, the bad guys, because they actually do a lot of great things. I think it's just the nature of business. If you're not on the gas and pushing forward, then you're going to get left behind. But for the most part in the energy space, yeah, that it's pretty absent of competition for most energy providers and distributors. So yeah, I think it's just the nature of it, man. There's just not a lot of competition to really help drive that innovation.
Yeah, I know that you are behind an idea, the idea of set power free. Can you explain what exactly that means? Set power free, because it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Is just a marketing way of saying, or it's a real truth, a real goal that you are going after?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's real. It's a real goal. When you first hear that idea of set power free, it's kind of odd, right? It really resonates. It evokes a lot of interest. It's exciting. Kind of the backstory on it, if you want, I can go into
For
that.
sure.
Yeah, man. So we were in the mining space, and really mining. We had locations all throughout, North America, and those devices consume a lot of electricity, a lot of energy, and 2017 to 2019, it was a big topic of concern throughout the world, particularly in North America, with the amount of energy that was being consumed. And so, it began to be such a hot topic that a lot of the lawmakers were having to craft new bills to limit the amount of energy that, these, Bitcoin miners could consume. And so that was a problem. We had a lot of devices deployed around, North America. And so it was a big problem that we were facing in the energy space. And so, we were really just struggling trying to figure out, what are we going to do if they put limits in place on, whether, we can operate or not. There were calls to shut down any Bitcoin or crypto mining. You can go back on Google and search up in Washington State and other places. They literally were going to shut it down. And so, with that backdrop, you know, we were just reflecting on what we could do to move forward. And my good buddy, he was up at Sundance, which is at the base of the mountains in Utah, and just really thinking about this idea. And it came to him, what if we could use this same technology, this blockchain technology, to solve this problem? Is there a way that we could, you know, basically flip the industry on its head using blockchain? And so, with that came this idea of, using blockchain, this technology that actually uses a lot of energy, to free, energy or electricity, from this grid, these centralized models that it's locked in, to essentially set power free. And that really was the idea that set in. And he told it to me, and it just hit me. And it just, maybe you can relate, to when you first, had that experience with blockchain. But literally the hair on the back of my neck and on my arm stood up, and I was like, yeah, man, yeah, set power free. I love that. And using blockchain to do it. And so really, it what it speaks to is opening up the marketplace to other players, to attracting in innovators, to set it free from, the traditional model that's, done nothing but, for the most part, increase people's power bills.
How you can do that, like practically? How you can, what are the different options that we can use the blockchain and set power free, or reduce the bill for the consumer, and of course, like you said, set power free from the centralized system?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a great question. So, really what it is it's creating a new infrastructure, right? So there's already this infrastructure to deliver the physical, the electricity, on wooden poles and electric lines, the transmission is what they call it. But once it gets onto the grid, which is this network of wires, all electricity looks the same. You can't differentiate between coal electricity or solar electricity or hydro. It all looks the same on the wires. And so, really, it's all about opening it up so other producers can connect and put their electricity, into the grid. And it's using blockchain to do it. So the way that we can do that is it can be tokenized. So when that electricity hits the grid, all the data around that electricity, what type of electricity it was, um, who produced it, the time and place, how much. Currently they use something called a renewable energy certificate. They're called RECs, mostly in the renewable energy space, and it's very analog. It's very slow, and it has a lot of problems. But using blockchain, we could tokenize that, essentially converting all the data about that electricity into like an NFT. Uh, and at that point, that all that information about the electricity that was pushed into the grid, that can move like an asset, on the blockchain. And then a consumer, oftentimes that could be utilities or it could be individuals, can acquire that, and then that can be used and retired. And so they can get with that all the environmental benefits that come from that. If you're a utility company, there's certain like milestones that you have to hit that the government imposes, and so they oftentimes will acquire those, or individuals can acquire it. And then so that electricity is measured when it hits. We know exactly where it came from, how much, 1 megawatt hour, let's say. And then when it's consumed, that all that data about the electricity that was consumed is measured. And so in this way, it can connect innovators in the energy space to consumers, and really help to open up that marketplace to allow that innovation to happen, and to help really to incentivize innovation, to help bring down the costs. And in this way, I feel like it can help set power free, and really unleash this electric, this power revolution that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's huge. But I have to be honest. Most of the things that you just said are going over the top of my head. Not being into that space and not understanding very well all the technology behind, it's kind of hard to grasp and understand what you are saying. But sounds beautiful.
Well, let me give you an idea. Because I didn't have a lot of experience in the energy space. I did for a small stint spend maybe like a year in the solar industry, and I, from the main standpoint of just understanding it and doing a lot of the marketing, and a lot of the creative work, I really had to really try to understand that space. And it isn't uncommon if you don't have solar. Let me explain kind of what happens. You put a solar array, a bunch of solar panels on your house, and you're generating electricity. Any excess electricity, for the most part, if you don't have batteries, gets pushed back into the grid, right?
Which is kind of waste for you.
Yeah.
You don't monetize that.
Yeah, it gets pushed back into the grid, and once it gets pushed back into the grid, the power company, generally there's only one, that they're the ones that buy that electricity. Okay. And they, and they're not going to give you the full retail price of that electricity. They're going to give you a fraction of its value. And I always tell people, it's just, just like when you're a kid and you're sitting at the table and your mom puts a big scoop of beets on your plate. My mom would say, you get what you get, don't throw a fit, and so, and it's the same with the electricity, right? The power company says, you're not going to get full retail. We're going to give you like half the retail price. And so it's a travesty. And that's a flaw of the current energy model. There's not a lot of buyers out there to help drive up, that you can maximize that price. And on the flip side, if you're an energy producers, you need, a lot of consumers with a lot of choice. That incentivizes you as a power producer to innovate and to make a better product at a lower price point. And so, that's the flaw, of the system. If you have solar, or you have some other, energy source gets pushed back in the grid, you're not going to get full retail. But if we could tokenize and we could use blockchain, now that it opens it up, now there's the ability for that value to flow. You have consumer choice. You have a lot of options now.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I want to challenge you, actually, to ask you to explain us one of the program that you are running right now. I believe it's no-brainer, and you are running a program with a community that you are part of, a program that people, they can have up to $250 the bill reduced. Or if, let's say, I'm paying $250 here in my house, and I can use your program, my bill is going to be free in reality, right? That sounds, let's put it this way, too good to be true. But yeah. I know it's true. That's the challenge part. You need to explain me how is that possible, and probably there are other people out there watching this, and they are curious to know how to be part of that, because I believe it's no-brainer. Everybody wants to reduce their bill with not $250, even $50, $100. I think for some families that means a lot. That's huge.
Yeah, it's big time. Yeah. So you're right, man. I'm a community member, part of this project. It's called the Green Blockchain, and unlike any other project except for maybe Bitcoin, it truly is, run by the community. So the community set up a charter. They set up a legal framework that really puts the community in the driver's seat. And what that means is that anyone that's operating a node, so that's the computer that we were talking about earlier in blockchain, anyone that runs this software that powers this blockchain technology of this green project, all of these computers running the software, they all connect and link together, and they form a global network. So as node operators, with it comes some certain rights and responsibilities in terms of, directing and leading, this project. So as node operators, you can create a proposal on how you want to upgrade, the underlying technology. So, this Bitcoin, like Bitcoin or, the green blockchain, think of it like, an operating system upon which applications can be built, like your phone, right? Your phone gets updates all the time, right? To enhance it, to make it better, to do more things. And so as community members, we can write a proposal, which basically is an idea about how to upgrade and enhance the utility of the underlying, blockchain technology. So, Green's vision and mission is to set power free. That's its goal. So you read in the charter, the vision and mission of Green is to set power free. And so as part of that, there's over, I think there's approximately like 20,000 nodes. You can read in the charter all about it, but there's about 20,000 nodes that have been set aside for the community to help accomplish this goal of setting power free. So these 20,000 nodes are earning, just like Bitcoin earns Bitcoin, when you're running a Bitcoin node. When you run, the green smart node, it earns green rewards. So there's 20,000 of these set aside that are, earning rewards, and these rewards are deposited in 1,000 wallets. So together, these nodes and these wallets are referred to as the green battery, or the DGF battery. And it's basically, just all of these rewards that are there and set aside to help Green in its vision of setting power free. So last year, we started this conversation about this idea of PowerPay, an incentive model to attract customers to the Green blockchain, to connect their data to the Green blockchain, and to pay their power bill. And so for many months, we would meet together and discuss and really articulate the different aspects of this PowerPay program. It really is a program designed and created by the community. And it basically is a rewards model to incentivize people and reward people for paying their power with the green token. And for doing that, you get a rebate, uh, for paying your power bill. So it's an excellent program. And so I don't know, like maybe I'm sure you have some questions you'd like to ask about how
Yeah,
it works.
I have a lot of questions. But I'm gonna keep very simple here. Let's say I'm paying my bill right now with whatever company. Am I gonna change anything with that, or is gonna stay the same? Like this, I'm gonna
Yeah.
receive the same bill from. In my case, it's Comet. I'm gonna receive the same bill, electric bill from Comet every single month.
Yeah. So you're going to stay with your same power company. So step one, you're going to choose your NFT. There's 4 NFTs to choose from. Okay. There's a 10% savings. There's a 25% savings. There's a 50% savings. And then there's a full power pay, which is
Full power pay,
100%.
which is up to 250.
Yep. Up to, so it's 100% or essentially up to a max of 250 USD in savings.
Yeah. Okay, then you need to have this NFT. For that,
Yep.
you need to have a wallet. You need to have a wallet actually, right?
Yeah.
To be
Yep.
able to purchase the NFT. And once you have the NFT, you are gonna be connected somehow with this called PowerPay.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So
And
step
every
one.
month, what you need to do is to have your dollar. Let's say I'm paying 250 or 300. Let's put it this way. I think it's easier to give this example. Let's say I'm paying $300 in my house every month, right? Now, every month I need to take my dollars and send it and exchange it into green, right? Because you said this is a reward program for people that they pay with green. This is what you just said, correct?
Yes. You got to have green tokens and you got to own the NFT. One of those, PowerPay NFTs.
Those two
The-
things. I'm
Yep.
taking the green token that is worth of $300 and send it to PowerPay, and PowerPay will pay my bill. Correct?
So it's up to 250. So if your power bill is 300, you would send $250 of green to PowerPay.
Okay. And what about the rest?
The rest, right now, during the beta phase of the program, you're just going to have to pay that your normal process.
You pay the normal way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I have to send $50 to the directly to Comet and 250 to PowerPay. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Is that gonna be easier in future, like to send directly to PowerPay?
Yeah. So right now, we're in the beta phase. So, this is the testing phase. A bunch of us community members meet every Thursday and, we're fine tuning it. Yes. The vision is eventually you'll be able to pay your full power bill with green.
That's great. But
Yeah.
I understand. I'm sending $50 to Comet and I'm sending to PowerPay 250 worth of like green worth of $250, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Now PowerPay is gonna pay Comet, right?
That's right. So PowerPay connects with your power company and pays that power bill using fiat. That's the normal,
Yeah.
funds.
Using dollars,
Yeah.
whatever you have
Yep.
in the country. By the way, is this everywhere in the world or is it only in few countries?
Yeah. So currently we have, right now during the beta phase, we have about 6,300 APIs that are ready to activate. And we're activating them, as the program matures and evolves. But right now, most power companies work with PowerPay. We have the ability with the APIs that we have to expand into over 50 countries. And like I said, over 6,300 different power providers. So yeah.
How do I know if I am in the right region, in the right country, or in the right?
Yeah. So if you go to setpowerfree.com and you click on our site map, there's it's called a power provider search form. So you click on that and you can type in your power company and it will scan our database and let you know if your power provider is currently participating in the program. If your power provider doesn't show up or it says that it's currently not participating, just send us a quick ticket and we'll be able to generally activate your power provider.
Then that's an option too.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm originally from Romania, if you don't remember, and I love my people. I love everybody, but also I know the situation in Romania, and then they pay high bills. Let's say somebody from Romania is paying a lot on the electricity. Can they go and create a ticket, send you, and you can open that that area for them?
For the most part, yeah. We would have to research and see. We'd have to look at it and see, because there's really no standard, process throughout the world. It's very different throughout the world. We just activated Jamaica yesterday. So we had an individual from Jamaica use PowerPay and had their power bill paid yesterday in Jamaica. Same in Italy. Now Sweden, we had some people in Sweden that we're trying to work really closely with to activate there. It's very, it's run for the most part by the government. So there's a very strict process. So they may have to wait until the full release of PowerPay in order to participate. But most power providers will work during this beta phase.
I heard I have a friend in Australia that is using PowerPay.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in Australia. I didn't know this until I started talking with people in Australia, but their power bills are out of control.
Wow.
And it makes sense. They're an island, right? They're an island. And so, it's not uncommon for, people in Australia to be paying over $1,000 a month on their power bill.
Wow.
Yeah.
250 is a good amount of money to save.
Yeah, now, it ends up being about 400 when you convert
in their money.
Yeah. So because it's all based on USD, so up to 250 USD is almost $400 in savings in Australia.
Wow.
For them. Yeah.
Then I'm sending the green token to PowerPay. PowerPay will pay my bill, correct? And after that, PowerPay will send me worth of 250 tokens back into my wallet, correct?
Yes. So, using your example, let's just say you have the 50% PowerPay NFT. All right. Mm-hmm. And again, your power bill's $300. So once a month, you're going to send $250 because that's the max worth of green tokens to PowerPay. So it's like sending an email. You just put in the address, hit send, boom, it goes. So PowerPay receives the 250 USD of green tokens. PowerPay connects and pays your power bill. At that point, it calculates how much green to send back to you. It looks at what PowerPay NFT do you own? That's the 50% PowerPay NFT. And how much was your power bill payment? $250, right? So 50% of 250 is $125 worth of green tokens will be sent to your green wallet.
Excellent. Yeah, but I don't understand why should I take the 50% when I can take the full amount? I think why not?
I know, right? Yeah, and most people treat it like, swimming. They just dip their toes in the pool just to test it out. And so, I think a lot of people, have activated the 10% when they wish they had activated the full PowerPay. So
I know you have to go because we decided for a time limit here. I'll let you go, but the last question is, where is the reward that you send back is coming from? is coming from the battery that you're talking about?
Correct. Yeah. So those rewards come from the battery. So, that's that community, those are 1,000 wallets that are held by the community. So yeah, it comes from the battery. Yeah.
This gives me an example. Like imagine Bitcoin will have 20,000 nodes that over the years accumulated a lot of money into a big pool, like you call the battery, like a big wallet.
Yeah.
And those money are going to be used to do good for the community, for people in the world. That's the
Yep.
idea.
Yeah. So it's set aside it's set aside for programs that the community votes on that will help.
Whatever the community wants to use that chunk of money, right? Big chunk of money.
Yeah, those rewards, those green tokens are set aside in the battery, and the community can put forth proposals for programs like PowerPay to distribute those rewards, to help in its vision and mission to set power free.
That should be a very special community, because not every community is thinking of others, how to help others. You might be part of a special community there.
I am, man. It is a special community, man. Jump on our calls, hit our Discord. There's some incredible people in that community. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, for those of you that you want to connect, and I'm gonna leave some information on this video somewhere, and you can connect with us, with Steven, and learn more about it, because I think it's fascinating what you are trying to do, the vision, the mission that you have to set power free, to help people with lower their bills. And probably you have many other ideas that we didn't have time to talk, but I know you have many ideas.
Yeah, man. I mean, and a lot of these ideas actually come from community members like you, that are just thinking about this and, how can we really make an impact? How can we make a difference? And so, really there's lots of opportunities to get involved. If, you want, you can participate, in the PowerPay program. You can get the NFT, you can pay your power bill and experience those rewards come back. You can run a smart node and help, facilitate. Every time, you send green, those green nodes are like a relay that helps send that, to other users. And so for doing this work, they earn like a transaction fee for helping to facilitate that. Other things you could do is you could, get a Greenbot NFT. So the Greenbot NFT, that's part of our program that we're going to be rolling out. So it's a pre-order right now, but you could own this Greenbot NFT, and anytime a power provider connects to green and wants to tokenize their energy, it's going, to use the Greenbot NFT to tokenize that, that energy, that electricity. And, by owning one of these Greenbot NFTs, you can participate in that process and earn, on the transaction fees, when that energy is, transferred or utilized. So, you have these two programs. You have PowerPay, which brings power consumers to the green blockchain, right, to pay their power bill. And you have the Greenbot NFT that attracts and brings power producers to the green blockchain. And what we're doing here is we're creating a new energy marketplace that's powered by the people. That's you, that's me. Anyone that's running a green smart node, right? They're the ones in the driver's seat. They get to decide. And literally that software connects with other node owners, and they form this global network, that helps, power this new marketplace. And so I really do believe that, we have the opportunity to really do something revolutionary, to really set power free from this old model, and do something that could have a powerful impact. I know we got to go, but I didn't know this. I
know you realize that this is a new way of thinking. Like you have to have a mind shift somehow, because what you are explaining is like totally new and different than what we grew up and what we understand. It's a new world.
It is a new world, and it's coming.
And because of that, I don't want to let you go before you promise me that you are going to be back, because I know I have to take that from you right now.
Dude, yes, I'll come back. I would love
Thank
to.
you. Thank you so much, Stephen. I really appreciate it. I feel like we just start talking and dig into this. There are a lot of things to learn. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and everything what you are doing here. And I wish you all the best and hope to see you soon back.
Thanks, Marius. Thanks for having me, man. It was a pleasure. I'd love to chat with you again, man.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this. I hope you watch it till the end. Connect with us and stay here because I think we are going to learn from amazing people that they are doing big things to impact the world. Thank you so much. Have a great day.